You've probably sent a heart emoji today, maybe to someone you love, maybe just to be polite. We throw the word love around constantly now, in text messages, in song titles, on first dates we're already nervous about. We talk about it like it's something we invented, something modern, something uniquely ours. But here's what nobody tells you. 6,000 years ago, before smartphones, before cities, before most of written language even existed, two people were buried face to face, arms wrapped around each other, foreheads almost touching. And nobody asked them to be placed that way. Someone chose that. So the question isn't whether we have love now. The question is, did we ever invent it at all? Most of us carry a quiet assumption about ancient people, that they were too busy surviving to do something as fragile as fall in love. Woolly mammoths, brutal winters, no medicine, no shelter. Love sounds like a luxury they couldn't afford. But in 2007, archaeologists in Mantova, Italy, found something that stopped the scientific world cold. They called them the lovers of Valdaro, two skeletons, both young, estimated to be in their 20s, buried sometime around 4000 BC. And they were locked in an embrace, facing each other, arms interlaced, legs intertwined. Researchers confirmed the position was deliberate. Someone, maybe a grieving parent, maybe an entire community, decided that if these two were going to rest, they would rest together. Pause on that. That is not survival behavior. That is something far older and far more powerful. And the lovers of Valdaro were just the beginning. Let's start in the one place love has always actually lived. Your brain. When you fall for someone, three chemicals flood your system almost immediately. Dopamine, the craving, the electric obsession. Oxytocin, the warmth, the sense of home. Vasopressin, the loyalty, the staying. And here's the part that quietly changes everything. These chemicals are ancient. Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist at Rutgers University, spent decades scanning the brains of people who had just fallen in love. And what she found was that the regions that activated, the caudate nucleus, the ventral tegmental area, are some of the oldest structures in the human brain. Older than language, older than agriculture, older than the first city wall ever built. We didn't develop the capacity for romantic love over time. We were born with it, which means every human who came before us was too. The feeling wasn't waiting to be invented. It was already there, but chemistry alone won't convince you. So let's talk about words. Around 1300 BC, more than 3,000 years ago, an Egyptian poet wrote something down on a collection of papyrus sheets, now known as the Chester Beatty Papyrus. The poem, translated, reads roughly like this. I think of your love, and my heart stands still inside me. 7 days since I have seen my sister, and sickness has invaded me. I am as heavy as if I have forgotten to eat. Sister here was a term of endearment, the way we might say, my love, today. Now read that again, change the word slightly, and that could be a text message sent last Tuesday. By you or someone you know. 3,000 years of human civilization, and heartache still hits exactly the same way. That is either the most comforting thing in the world or the most unsettling. Probably both. If ancient Egyptians felt exactly what we feel, does that mean every historical romance film ever made is less dramatic fiction and more just accurate documentary? Yeah, basically. Keep going, it gets better. Before Romeo and Juliet, before any love story you were ever taught in school, there was Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest written narrative humanity has ever found. It comes from ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, around 2100 BC. And at its center isn't a war, isn't a conquest, isn't a battle for a throne. It's grief. Gilgamesh, a king, a warrior, a man the poem describes as two-thirds God, loses his closest companion, Enkidu. And what happens next isn't what you'd expect from an ancient warrior. He weeps openly. He refuses to eat. He sits beside Enkidu's body for 7 days, refusing to accept that someone he loves is simply gone. Scholars describe the bond between Gilgamesh and Enkidu, whether read as deep friendship or something more intimate, as written with an emotional depth that mirrors exactly what modern psychology describes as grief after romantic loss. And here's the part that haunts me most. The entire second half of the epic is Gilgamesh, wandering the earth, searching for immortality, not for power, not for glory, because he cannot live in a world where love simply ends. That obsession, that refusal to let someone go? Tell me that doesn't sound familiar. In 1972, archaeologists excavating a site in northwestern Iran found something no textbook fully prepares you for. Two people, discovered in a small storage pit, who appeared to have died in the moment they were turning toward each other, faces close, leaning in. They are known as the Hassanlu lovers, dated to approximately 800 BC. We don't know who they were. We don't know if they were partners, siblings, or strangers. But in the final moment before everything ended, one turned toward the other, not away, toward. And that instinct, to reach for someone when the world is falling apart, is one of the oldest human behaviors we know. It still happens in hospital rooms, on planes caught in turbulence, in living rooms at 3 in the morning when sleep won't come. We reach for someone. We have always reached for someone. Some things don't need centuries to evolve. They just are. The ancient Greeks were the first civilization to actually sit down and try to categorize love. They didn't settle for one word. They came up with 7. Eros, desire, the electric, urgent kind. Philia, deep friendship, the kind that holds. Storge, family love, quiet and constant. Pragma, the love that's been worn smooth by time. Agape, love that asks nothing in return. Ludus, early-stage butterflies and playfulness. Philotia, love of the self. In his symposium, Plato described a myth that humans were once whole, doubled, powerful, and the gods threatened, split us apart. And ever since, we wander the earth looking for the other half. Is that literally true? No. Is it emotionally true? Ask anyone who's been in love and lost it. The Greeks weren't being poetic for the sake of it. They were doing what humans do best. They were trying to name something too big to hold. So here we are. It's 2026. We have dating apps and compatibility algorithms that promise to calculate our perfect match based on personality scores and response patterns. We have entire industries, therapy, music, film, self-help, dedicated to helping us understand something a Neolithic community in Italy already seemed to know. And yet, more people than ever say they feel profoundly lonely. More people than ever report that real, lasting connection feels further away than it should. And maybe that's worth sitting with for a second, because a prehistoric community with no written language knew, without a single app, that when two people belong together, they should rest beside each other. An Egyptian teenager, 3,300 years ago, found words for the ache of missing someone that you still feel in your own chest today. A Sumerian king wept in public for his companion and called it the most real thing he had ever experienced. These people didn't have our vocabulary. Some of them had barely any vocabulary at all, but they had the feeling. And here's what I think we sometimes lose beneath all the analyzing and the swiping and the defining. Love was never something that needed to be invented. It needed to be found, again and again and again. And maybe that's the truest thing about being human. Not that we keep falling in love, but that no matter how much time passes, no matter how much the world changes around us, we keep wanting to. We always have.